Well, good morning. Good morning, and welcome to the Morning Report. My name is Willie Lawson. The Morning Report is a production of FightbackMedia.com, 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 and FightbackMediaTV.com. We trust you are well today on this Monday, the 7th of November. Tomorrow is the election day. It is the midterm election in the United States. And I say that for those people who are living in other countries because we are blessed to have listeners who are living outside of the U.S. And this is an important day because all of the seats in the House of Representatives are open. Every 2 years, we get a chance to, like in cards, toss in our hand and pick a new hand. As far as the House of Representatives go, and this is one of those years. To give you some background, what normally happens is that if there's a presidential candidate from Party A, they usually lose power in the House of Representatives to Party B. Not Cardi B, but Party B. That's what normally happens, and it looks like that might happen again. We'll talk a little bit about that today and what we what we have planned for you tomorrow on Election Day. All right. Again, thanks for coming to the Morning Report. My name is Willie Lawson. The Morning Report is a production of FightbackMedia.com, 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 and FightbackMediaTV.com. We'll be back right after these messages. So is it okay now, because it was, during the Trump administration, it is okay to talk about the president's
yeah. We talked about mental health elderly, so let's talk about this guy mental health.
The president's mental acuity, because there's sometimes where it seems to be lacking. Have you seen?
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes it's especially bad. I'm talking about sometimes it's like really bad. Like, have you seen the picture?
I was told not to take any questions.
I was told not to take any questions. They're going to be mad at me.
They're going to be mad at me.
Mr.
President, are you the president or are you five?
You see, what I want. See, the next question is, Mr. President,
I was told to call on what you call for NBC. Who's telling you to call on?
That's the question that we ought to be asking. Who's telling you this?
I don't understand why nobody won't ask that question.
Is Jen Psaki actually the president?
Who's telling you to call on these people in the media?
Is Jen Psaki actually the president?
Probably so.
All right. Again, welcome back to the Morning Report. My name is Willie Lawson. Tomorrow, November 8th, is Election Day, midterm election day here in the United States. And we've heard a lot of, it's going to be a red wave, going to be a red wave, going to be a red wave. I try to avoid that level of hyperbole. I am a Florida State University football fan, so I am prone to just wait until the clock reaches zeros to start taking a victory lap. However, there are some trends here that we want to make you aware of. Now, we're trying to make you aware of this, not so you don't participate, but so you know that we've got to push hard to get to the other side. That we're right there. That what we need to have happen tomorrow is completely doable. What we have to have happen tomorrow is completely and totally doable. All right, let's look at, I like Real Clear Politics. I am a fan of Real Clear Politics because it basically takes a lot of the regular polls and squishes them together and comes up with some average or some, median or, so it's nice. And it's not, and because they have to take all these other polls, sorry, is that popcorn I had yesterday, that it sort of balances off the skew of Democrat polls and Republican polls. So I like it. All right, we're going to go back and start looking at what I think is an interesting measure. That interesting measure is the generic ballot. Um, that ballot that is sort of, we're not quite sure, frankly. Um, and we like that, really. We like that because it gives us an idea of what what things are going on, generally speaking. Here on the chart you see on the page, we're going to starts back at Saturday, October 29th. We're going to look at October 30th, which is last Sunday, not yesterday, but last Sunday. We're looking at the CBS News Battleground Tracker and the 2022 generic congressional vote. That is, if you had to pick a Republican or Democrat, who would you pick? On Sunday, according to CBS, um, Republicans were at 41% and Democrats were at 55%. So Republicans are up two. Let's look at another poll of the very same thing. As you can see, there is these polls on the Florida Fourth District, Bean versus Hollywood. Hollywood, Bean's up by 12 points. Seem like that's going to happen for Republicans. Doesn't seem like a big deal. However, in New Mexico, we see three polls that are here's Fernandez over Johnson by 18 points. That's a heavily Democrat district that seems to be is going to stay that way. Harrell versus Vasquez. Harrell is trailing. The Republican is trailing by 2 percentage points, according to the Albuquerque General. So I'm sure that's within the margin of error. Stansbury versus Holmes. Stansbury is up by 6, and that's probably a done deal there on the first district in New Mexico. Let's go on to Tuesday last week. In a 2022 generic congressional poll done by the Wall Street Journal. The Republicans are in that poll leading 46 to 44 points. Republicans up by 2 points, just like in the other poll. Let's move on to this is Wednesday, November 2nd, in some congressional polls. Let's look at The Economist. YouGov poll, it's a tie, 49-49. But on the CNN poll, Republicans are up by 4. On the NPR PBS Marist poll, Republicans were up by 3. And in a Quinnipiac poll, Republicans were up by 4. News Nation, Republicans up by 2. And the outlier is Politico, where Democrats are up by 5. And with what we see here, that this last one, Democrats up by 5, seems unlikely. Let's move on to Thursday. About 4 days ago, the generic congressional vote from the people from Data for Progress, as you could tell, that's probably not a conservative think tank, has the Republicans up by 4 points. This was on last Thursday. As you can see, last Friday in the Rasmussen Reports generic poll, Republicans were up by 5. Up by 5. That's considerable, and that's outside of the margin of error. That seems considerable. On Sunday, this past Sunday, yesterday, in a generic poll, we've got the ABC Washington Post poll where the Republicans are up by 2, and the NBC News poll where the Democrats are up by 1. Let's see, we're going to go ahead and finish this up. And on Monday, the 7th, that's today. The Economist YouGov poll shows Republicans up by 1 point. The Data for Progress, now the Republicans are up instead of by 2, they're up by 4. And the Trafalgar group. Okay, well, you heard that, and it was a change in microphones because my good one just fell over. Republicans are up by 5, and in the political poll, the Democrats are up by 5. It's hard to believe what's true. And this is some of the other smaller races we have here. That's what's going on. Now, it's like a Bill Cosby joke. I told you that to tell you this. Yes, it seems. Let me get rid of the screen share here. It seems like things are going well, but we cannot lose interest. We cannot decide. Well, it's a foregone conclusion. Republicans are going to take the House. Maybe, maybe. I alluded to the fact earlier that I'm a Florida State fan, and I am. I've been a Florida State fan since 1981. And what I've learned is on the good side or on the bad side, the game is never over. The game is never over. This weekend, Florida State played the University of Miami and thumped them 45-3, and was up, pretty handily at halftime. And I posted this question: can Florida State stay interested enough to win the game? They were up by 35 points, but could they stay interested enough? Could they stay focused enough to win the game? Because they had lost their focus before. Listen, I watched the Tampa Bay Buccaneers lose to Tony Dungy's Indianapolis Colts, where the Colts scored 4 touchdowns in 1 quarter to win that game. The Bucs could not stay interested enough in that game after leading by a large portion to win. And part of my concern is, can Republicans stay focused enough? Can conservatives stay focused enough to seal the deal tomorrow? Can you stay focused enough? I certainly hope so. But I told you all that, so sort of tell you this cautionary tale of the lack of focus. The Buccaneers, I know you guys don't want to talk about professional football, but the Buccaneers, last night into the last 55 seconds of the game were trailing. They were trailing, and in 55 seconds were able to get down the field, score a touchdown and an extra point to win the football game. With a minute to go, frankly, the game should have been over, right? With a minute to go, the game should have been over, and the Bucs should have lost. But the game wasn't over. It just wasn't over. And because the game wasn't over, Buccaneers still had a chance to win. Even if they were trailing, they still had a chance to win the game. And they did. With 55 seconds to go, they beat the Los Angeles Rams 16-13. Basically leaving 9 seconds on the clock. And even then, with a lead of 3, the Rams weren't out of the game. There were 9 seconds to go. They could have run the ball. They could have ran the kickoff back for a touchdown, won the game. Ran the kickoff back far enough to get in the field goal range, kicked the field goal tied, and won in overtime. The game wasn't over. So it's super important to keep playing. So as you see these polls, and these polls look fantabulous, the goal of victory is to keep playing, not to rest on some supposed laurel. Nobody ever got elected because they were leading in the polls. No one ever got elected to an office because they were leading in the polls. So don't fall back on that like that actually means something. It might, but it could very well easily mean nothing. The only poll that matters is the one that you go to on election day. You know what I'm saying? So again, I told you all this to encourage you to go out and participate, not to make you lazy. My name is Willie Lawson. We'll be back with more of the program right after these messages.
Well, hey everybody, my name is Willie Lawson, and you guys know that I do a lot of stuff on the internet. And you may think with what's happening on Twitter and what's happening on Facebook and what happened to Parler that the mainstream social media sources are really trying to rid themselves of conservative voices. And you'd be right, they most certainly are. Um, but you know what? It isn't as bad as you think it is. It's worse. But there are people who are willing to be platformed for free speech. One of those one of those places is freedomforum.website. Freedomforum.website. You can go there and speak your mind. So come join us. Enjoy the freedom. Enjoy the fun. If you are a true blue conservative, small businesses are near and dear to your heart. They are the lifeblood of our life and economy. I believe this, and that's why my florist is not a website or a phone number. My florist is Bloomingdale's Flower Shop, Tampa's premier flower shop. At 11618 North Florida Avenue here in Tampa, Florida, and at 6835 State Road 54 in Newport Richey. Call Christine at 813-933-1942 and at 727-232-6900. She can also be reached on the web at www.bloomingdays.com. One of the things that I get asked most is where can I get information that is not tainted with liberal bias, especially here in the Tampa Bay area. Well, now I have the answer. tbctampa.com, a website by and for Tampa area conservatives. Tampa's leading conservative voices speak freely at tbctampa.com, and you can too. So join the fun and enjoy the freedom at tbctampa.com. My name is Willie Lawson, and this is the Morning Report. Welcome back. My name is Willie Lawson. This is the Morning Report. The Morning Report is a production of fightbackmedia.com, 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 and fightbackmediatv.com. We appreciate you being here this glorious day. We really do. There's been a lot of talk about deniers, people who are climate deniers and science deniers and election deniers. Well, election deniers are people who don't just willingly accept that the results of an election are valid. Well, one of the first election deniers in recent history that I can think of is Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton and the left told us that it was the Russians. It was the Russians colluding with Donald Trump to win the 2016 presidential election. Didn't you hear that? As a matter of fact, for almost the entirety of the Trump presidency, he was continually accused of collusion with the Russians. That he was the Manchurian candidate in order to win that election. I mean, it was a constant drumbeat on CNN every day, all day long. Right? You remember? You remember the hearings? You remember the impeachments? You remember all of that? And what we found out was that because Mueller Mueller was supposed to bring down Trump. They were like, we got the bombshell, we got the evidence, it's over. America's nightmare is coming to an end. Remember all that hyperbole? Remember all that? I do. Didn't happen that long ago, and I'm not too old to not remember. There's a Florida representative. Her name is Anna V. Eskamani, and she's running for a seat in the Florida legislature. Florida State Rep Anna Eskamani, Democrat, declared it disinformation to point out her hypocrisy when it comes to accepting the results of an election, after a popular meme account juxtaposed her two tweets. Defiant L. The first tweet is from 2018, when she shared an article that stated, rigged witch hunt. The only thing rigged, is what she said in her tweet, the only thing rigged in this was the 2016 presidential election. So Representative Eskamani is saying that the 2016 election was rigged. She was this is in 2018, she's buying the whole Russian collusion, blah, 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 blah thing, right? So denying the legitimacy of a presidential election is Anna Eskamani. Does that sound correct to you? The second tweet is from this year, where she tweets, more than 1 in 2 Americans will have an election denier on the ballot this fall. This isn't funny, it's dangerous. Didn't she just a short time ago deny the legitimacy of the presidential election in 2016? And all Defiant L did was put these two tweets together and use a pretty nice picture of her and tell you exactly what I just said. Folks, the left was already sort of salting the sidewalk. Karine Jean-Pierre has said that it might take days to know the results of these elections. I'm sorry that doesn't make any sense, that it should take days to know the results of any of these elections if they were done in a fair and consistent and professional manner. It should. This is 2022. It should not take days. A congressional district is about 600,000 people. It should not take days to record votes of 400,000 people. I'm just saying that not everybody's going to vote who's eligible to vote, or who is counted in that 600,000 per congressional district. It just shouldn't take days. It's 2022. It should take hours. So of course, if something's taking days that should take hours, there's going to be suspicion. So what they're doing is salting the sidewalk already, saying that these people who are not going to accept the results of these elections, they're election deniers. Ladies and gentlemen, my suggestion to you is to participate in whatever system we have left. I'm not saying any of this to you to discourage you from participating. I'm hoping it encourages you to participate. That tomorrow, by this time, you will have already voted. You will have already made it clear, abundantly clear, if you are happy with the way things are going, or you are unhappy with the way things are going, especially where you live, which is frankly more important in my belief than anything's going on in Washington. What's happening at your school board, what's happening in your schools where your kids go. What it costs to put food on your table, what it costs to put food in or gasoline in your car. Not some national average, but you personally. That's what this is about. This election is about the family, the food, the fuel. That's what this election is about. So I hope that you vote your conscience. I hope that you vote in your best interest. But more than anything else, hope you vote. Thanks for coming to the Morning Report. My name is Willie Lawson. The Morning Report is a production of fightbackmedia.com, 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 and fightbackmediatv.com. We hope to get with you tomorrow. I'm hoping to do at least a post-election program on tomorrow evening. So keep checking out the Facebook page, keep checking out the website, fightbackmedia.com. And again, until we see you again, go out there and learn something, love somebody, and for goodness sakes, y'all take care of yourself. We'll see you when we see you. Bye-bye now.